All right, Paul, the BC Lions finished their preseason on Friday night against the Calgary Stampeders. But it makes me think about when you were covering football 20 years ago, covering the BC Lions.
I was a Cub reporter, you might say.
Cub reporter.
Lion Cub.
Move
on.
I was thinking of the Bears.
I cover the Grizzlies too, but go ahead.
Oh, interesting. Okay, anyway.
Not really.
I remember back then you used to write lots of stories about the offensive line, about the machinations of the offensive line. And I remember telling you, why do you write so many stories about the offensive line?
Well, Jonathan, I know this is something that we see a lot today. Is you always see the news feature, for either the Province or the Sun, or in broadcast on the offensive line, and it's kind of a fallacy where people say if you don't know. The only time you hear the names of the offensive linemen, it's because they've done something wrong. It's not true. They're actually probably, as a group, the most covered part of the team. But there's a reason for that. If you look at the Lions' troubles the last few years, they have not been able to keep their quarterback healthy. Why is that? The offensive line has been pretty much a group of turnstiles, traffic cones, whatever you want to call them. Now, they've been beat up. They've had injury problems for several years. Jovan Olafoye has moved sides. That's a complete change of technique for him. And we can sit here and pick it apart and talk about, do they have chemistry? The left side versus the right side. What's happening on the blitz? Look, everything starts with the offensive line. You have a great running back. You're not going to get anywhere if you don't have that solidity up front, if you don't have those holes being opened. Receivers aren't going to get time to get opened, and your quarterback is going to get hurt. So the reason you see so much coverage of the offensive line is, frankly, it's failed this team, but it's the most important unit on the team.
But why do they always also seem to be among the most interesting people on the team?
Well, generally because they eat a lot. People who eat a lot tend to be quite interesting. But look,
yes, you are,
and they're
yes.
Canadian. Generally the Canadian positions are on the offensive line, and I think they understand more what the CFL is. Obviously, they grew up with it, and so I think you find more interesting stories there. But honestly, that's the BC Lions season is going to live and die on the health and ability of their offensive line.
Well, you've slimmed down a lot since you were on the O-line.